Welcome back to Road to Fire. We're a family of four documenting our journey to FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Let's chat about our July 2024 portfolio update. I will share details on all of our current investments, outline our gains or losses versus last month, and how we're tracking towards our investing goal with all real numbers like always, so please hang with me. So 76% of our net worth is in our stock portfolio. We strategically focused on building a strong stock portfolio for early retirement. But this was not always our plan. Originally, we thought, because we lived in the Midwest, we'd grow a small real estate portfolio via long-term rentals and be able to retire in our early 30s. Things started out as planned, and we bought our first rental in early 2012 and became landlords overnight. But the maintenance issues, tenant problems, and Section 8 qualifications proved to be more than we can handle. We moved out of state and sold the property. Now, I don't regret selling, but wish we would have had more experience before we started, or at least did a little bit more research before becoming property owners. Since then, we have moved a few times, but have made investing in the stock market our lead strategy. We have 2 properties today and 3 doors, but real estate has taken a backseat in our overall plans for FIRE. Now, I still check the MLS and I still walk through duplexes here and there because most are still relatively affordable in our area. But as we know, interest rates as well as new city laws around rent control has made it harder to find the right deal. Our strategy today is to put every extra dollar we have into the market, and it's been working. On average, we invest about $5,000 to $7,000 after-tax dollars into the market monthly, and it's helped us grow to an over $700,000 portfolio. And we keep things real simple and have grown our portfolio through a nearly one fund strategy. So I don't check our portfolio weekly or daily. I review our numbers monthly, but if I'm a bit anxious or bored, I pull up our golden child VTSAX to gauge how we're doing that month. So here is the performance of VTSAX over the last year. This is the number one fund we invest in. So VTSAX is a total stock market index fund that seeks to track the performance of a benchmark index that measures the investment return of the overall stock market. Essentially, it's a basket of stocks that mimic the total stock market. It's a great way to get started, in my opinion, with limited risk, low cost, and good diversification. Now, we did try our hand at single stock picking, and that didn't go so well, and I don't have the patience or time for it either. So in the last year, this VTSAX stock is up about 13%, and it's trading at about $130. I love to see returns over 7%, so this fund is exceeding my personal expectations. So if our portfolio is growing, it's because of this single fund VTSAX. Now, I know there are ETF versions and similar ticker symbols for Fidelity or other platforms available as well, but I don't foresee us changing our strategy anytime soon because it's definitely working. Okay, so here's a recap of our June portfolio numbers. Keep in mind these numbers are pulled through the end of the previous month, so it's through May, and July is through June and so forth. And if you've been following along, you would know that I didn't post in June because, June kicked my butt both emotionally and physically, plus all the work trips took a toll on my body and my mind. But here's a quick look at our numbers for June. Overall, our portfolio was just under $700,000 in June. Most of our investments are still within our IRAs, about 47%, which houses all of our old 401ks from previous jobs. Now, we don't invest or add to this amount as we are focusing on other areas for investing. I was really happy to see our brokerage account reach higher heights at over $115,000, and this is where we invest most of our after-tax dollars. And our secondary location for our funds is our HSA, which is still at about $13,000. I would love to add more money into this account, and starting in October, we'll make that shift. And just like the previous months, we didn't buy any individual stocks as we are still stuck on VTSAX as expected. From May to June, we saw about a $25,000 increase in our portfolio, which was great and helped us cover for the low month we had in May. We are about 70% to $1 million being invested in the market, and we are getting closer. Okay, so here's our July stock portfolio or our current numbers. Overall, we saw strong gains last month, and I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but I am riding this wave. To simplify things, I always break out our investments by what type of investment accounts we have, and I outline the balances within each of those individual accounts. Up first, like always, is our IRA accounts in Vanguard, which has now or still about 47% of our total portfolio. The balance is just over $336,000. Next is our after-tax brokerage account, which has a balance of just over $123,000, representing now 17% of our total portfolio, up $7,000 month over month. Our 401ks for both my husband and myself have finally surpassed our equity stock holding. The balance is just over $78,000, which is up about $5,000 month over month. We are on track to maxing this out this year. I am a bit over, so we'll pull back on my contributions to avoid that fee at the end of the year. Our equity stock line stayed the same and will until the next valuation. We invested in a family business almost 2 years ago, and our current stock value is at about $75,000. We then have about $52,000 in our children's UTMA accounts. We invest $700 combined a month in these two accounts for both of our children. We also have our Roth accounts, which has a balance of just over $49,000 within Vanguard. This is also another account we currently do not fund. And last, but definitely not least, is our combined HSAs, which is just about $13,500. So our total portfolio amount in July is $728,518, up about $29,000 from June. That is compound interest doing the heavy lifting, as we definitely did not put anywhere near that amount into the market last month. I can't wait until we hit that $750,000 mark. Our focus is to grow our FIRE Bridge account or grow our after-tax brokerage account. This has been our focus and will continue to be our focus. Once we hit our kids' investing goals, my son is at almost 40% to his goal. We will shift the dollars that we are sending to those UTMA accounts to this account to grow even faster. We know there are ways to access retirement funds early, but we'll rather not in our first few years of FIRE. Even so, we hope that we would have at least enough streams of income to not need this bridge account as well. Regardless, we'll still like to have easy, accessible funds readily available when we need it. Yes, there are clearing times, but these funds are very easy to access if we need it right away. Now I'm hoping this will be close to 33% of our total portfolio by the time we reach FIRE, so almost $900,000 in this account. I know my husband has no desire to stop working at 40, but I hope to switch to a more balanced job once I reach that age. And I can't wait to just slow down a bit, because this hustle culture is getting old real fast. On top of growing our bridge account, I want to focus on growing our HSAs. We have 2 HSAs, and mine is not employer funded as I'm on my husband's insurance, but we are not maxing it out, and we should have, and we could have. I took our bridge account goal investing $50,000 after tax dollars into the market, and that became our main priority. But come October, we're making this shift. It won't be dramatic change as we are about 50% to maxing out today, but our take-home pay will be a little bit lower. I'm expecting to get promoted at the end of this year, fingers crossed, and my husband is on the job hunt right now, so we will get more income to hopefully offset this shift. Now, this is the plan as of the first week of July, and we know things change all the time, so we'll see how things roll out by the end of October. So, have you heard of the summer sell-off? It's the old school Wall Street slogan where investors sell their investments at the beginning of the summer and come back during the fall. Now, I didn't know this was a thing until recently because we've always followed the DCA investing method or dollar cost averaging. So DCA is an investment strategy that involves regular investing at a fixed amount of money into a security regardless of its price. Now, we don't always put in the same amount each month, but we do invest monthly. There are 3 reasons why we invest using the DCA method. First, it helps minimize the impact of volatility when investing. When the market swings, because we're investing monthly, regardless, we then are getting the average cost over time. So when the market is down, we buy, and when the market is up, we buy, essentially averaging out the price. Number 2 is it creates a consistent investing habit. We have a 3-step paycheck routine, and X amount goes to saving, X amount goes into our payoff of our credit card as we use that to pay off for most of our expenses monthly for both of us, and the remainder goes into cash for certain bills. Now, it has made life so much easier. I made an entire video about it, and you can check it out here if you want to go into the details, but the DCA method helps me put in a certain percentage each month into our savings and investments, and it helps us keep up our saving rate year over year. And the most important reason, it helps us reduce emotional decision making. I don't worry about what is going on at MSNBC or what Kathy Wood is buying. I stick to my one fund strategy and I just let it roll. It's worked, and we're seeing the gains of this strategy month over month. Okay, so here's our FIRE investments tracker. We are working towards having $2.7 million invested into the market. In March, our portfolio was just about $650,000, and it jumped to about $682,000 in April. Then it slid to just about $675,000 in May. We then saw it shoot up to almost $700,000 in June, and it's at about $728,000 now in the top of July. Today, we are 27% to our goal and hope to reach this by the end of 2030. Again, not sure if this is possible, but we'll know once we hit that halfway mark. But to hit our FIRE investments goal, we'll need to amass an incremental $1.9 million portfolio in about 5.5 years. Now that sounds impossible when I say it out loud, but I do love a good challenge. Keep in mind that we inflated our FIRE numbers, so even if we are a bit under, we still will be financially independent. I love obviously creating trackers, and sometimes you just don't know how far you've come without looking back over the last few months. Now, we still got ways to go, but we're getting there, and I'm not worried at all. But we are so close to becoming millionaires. In 2024, at the tender age of 35, we will be millionaires. Now, I know nothing's going to change in our way of living or our life. We don't become millionaires, then get a life change button, but it's a nice milestone to finally hit. We need just one more month like July, and we are there. Now, I track our net worth monthly, but report out quarterly, as the month-to-month changes aren't as thrilling per se. But being a millionaire today isn't the same as it was when I first graduated undergrad. I was like, being a millionaire by 30 was our goal. We didn't hit it, but honestly, times have changed and inflation has won year over year, and $1 million just doesn't feel like it used to. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful. We started this FIRE journey in 2019 or early 2020, right before the start of the pandemic. We had a rough financial year in that year. Think of anything bad financially happening, and it happened to us. But we knew that things had to change. So almost 5 years later, we have been growing our net worth, cutting our expenses, and finding ways to increase our income to get to where we are today. It is good to see the labors of our work, or finally seeing the fruition of things that we put in action years ago. Numbers don't lie. Now, again, we still have ways to go. We're just about 1/3 of our way to FIRE. But if we keep at this pace, I know we'll get there sooner rather than later. We'll have 6 months to crush our goals this year, and so far we're on track for most of them. We don't have to hit our goals every month, but our averages are trending in the right direction. July is the halfway mark, and I can tell how our year will end once we hit July. And if we were really behind in our goals in July, I would have a different way of thinking right now. But we're on track, and the optimism has hit an all-time high. I'm feeling really grateful for all of our progress. Now, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.